Nerd News Cafe, Stir It Up, with Matt, Landon, and Justin.
Get ready to stir it up. It is round 43, and I am injecting, evidently, stuff into my eyes. We did not stop talking at all for our Tuesday show, so this is kind of a continuation. When I say kind of, I mean it is a continuation of the Tuesday show, and we just kind of roll it into a Stir It Up. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do, and that's what you're going to tolerate.
And I'm Landon.
Fire it up.
Let's move on to a couple announced movies that we learned about this past week.
God.
The first one, let's talk about the Are You Afraid of the Dark movie. Guys.
I don't know.
Guys.
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know.
You know you want this. You know you do.
It depends on what they do.
Girl, you know it's true.
Girl, you know it's true. Oh, will they be lip syncing the entirety of the movie?
What were they called? The Midnight
Society.
I was going to say gang. I was like, that's not right.
Submitted for your approval.
So
Yes.
do you think
Throw that magic sand into the fire.
like
Hell yeah.
it has to be set up like the show, right? It's going to be people like kids who I guess climbed out their window.
Reading the article. No, it's just we'll update it like we did Jumanji 2, and they're just going to be on a forum.
They're all in Google Chat.
Yeah, they're
at Creepypasta or something.
yeah, and they're just straight up like that. The sand you said they threw in the fire. It's just an emoji for that now.
Yeah, it's that one guy doing the salt gif.
Yeah, there you go. So and then,
Oh my God, we're actually rewriting this for 2017.
I don't want it rewritten for 2017.
Neither do I.
I want cell phones minus in this. I want no computers beyond a 386.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be kids getting together doing Molly, and then they're gonna tell their story.
God,
Doing that Molly.
the LSD Society.
we have to go back in time where parents were cool with their kids just being out until all hours of the night. Be like,
Street
"Yeah,
lights are
whatever.
on."
Just come home before I have to go to work tomorrow morning.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be like the parents are in bed, the kids are breaking
Because they
out.
just don't understand.
Yeah, they don't understand. Kids are going out the windows and they're meeting somewhere like at a freaking junkyard or something, setting fire to construction waste.
Would you say that there might be a dumpster fire in this movie?
And they're sitting around like twittering and tumbling and looking at their phones. And
Yeah.
then one of them's like, "Hey guys, I heard this story." And
If
they're
you
like-
get on Reddit,
And they're all
the
sitting
no
there-
sleep subreddit.
yeah, and they're all sitting there going, not really paying attention.
Yeah. They're like,
That's gonna
oh,
be
totally.
That's the movie.
Yeah, that's it. That's
I'm
what's
gonna
so
be really
scary.
pissed when that's actually how the movie starts.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, being real about it, I think they're gonna have to make it a period piece. I think they're gonna have to take it back
That would be strange content for
90s.
Would you say it would be Stranger Things content?
Oh God, we've done 80s to death. They might as well do the 90s.
Let's do the 90s. I mean, I think you're right.
No one
though.
knows
I think-
anything about it.
I kind of feel like to go back because let's think about the audience you're going to be pulling in.
True, you're gonna have to have nostalgia of the 90s because that's when it was on
It's
Nickelodeon.
going to be all of us Snick kids.
Snick. Nick, Nickelodeon.
Remember that big orange couch they would sit
I
on?
was just
yeah.
about to say
I remember the
wanted
blimp.
that couch.
I remember the big Nickelodeon blimp.
We should just change this to a conversation about Snick.
Snick.
That
I
was
wanted a piece of the aggro crag.
yeah. Oh my gosh, Guts. Do you have it? Come on.
We're gonna send it to you, Mo.
I was a Double Dare kid, so
Double Dare was cool, but it was not on Snick.
it was not on Snick.
No.
You got to remember
But-
I was just a little bit missed the boat on a lot of those.
But we had
Yeah,
cool
that's-
shows like Clarissa Explains It All.
I did watch Clarissa Explains It All.
I was just about to say, if we're gonna get a Are You Afraid of the Dark movie, can we please get a Clarissa Explains It All movie? Fergface has to get his.
Absolutely.
And whatever happened to her pet crocodile?
I think we are seeing the results of where Fergface ended up. Just saying.
What, Jared Kushner?
Close, but a little bit more day glowy.
Do you think they'd bring
No.
back Melissa Joan Hart? Like bring back Melissa Joan Hart for Clarissa Explains It All update?
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with way more Melissa Joan Hart in my life.
But we also had,
Clarissa dumbs it down for you. That's what it should be called.
don't forget, we had things like freaking Ren and Stimpy show.
Was real.
and
Oh, I
Snick.
watched Ren and Stimpy like no other. And was Real Monsters.
Real Monsters.
I loved.
Real
I loved.
Monsters.
Loved Real Monsters.
As my jams.
The Secret World of Alex Mack.
It was okay.
I like that one, but if I had to choose, and for some reason in my mind it's always one or the other, Clarissa over Alex Mack.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I would take Clarissa
all
too.
day.
And then All That, we got our kids version of SNL.
All That has one of my favorite things in it, and they had the Frenchman in a tub that was done by
that was funny.
And
Kenan Thompson.
Yeah, Kenan Thompson, and he would be like, something, something, something in French. He goes, "Why are you late, and why do you smell of cheese?" I was like, and I would try to remember the French. I was like, I need to use this. Never did.
I remember All That used to have, I think her name was Mary Beth. She would always have like these non sequiturs in between. And one time one of them was rude things to say on the phone. Why does my butt smell? And of course, my younger brother watched it, and monkey see, monkey do. A business somebody called my mom. My brother answered the phone. Mom, you got a phone call while he's waiting. Why does my butt smell? And of course, my mom heard that. God, that was a fun conversation after she got off the phone.
Nice. Did he ever give up the details on where he acquired that?
Actually, I think he did, because he couldn't watch All That for a couple of weeks.
That's what I was wondering.
Which, looking back, that is the dumbest punishment ever. It's like, okay, you can't watch Beavis and Butthead for a month because you hit a frog with a baseball bat. That I get. You can't watch All That. Are you kidding me? This is the most benign form of comedy ever.
In my family, and I won't relate who or where, but a younger cousin had watched Simpsons, and they came into the kitchen at one point, and they were asked, "What are you doing?" And they go, "Why the hell do you want to know?"
Oh.
And that came from Simpsons, Evian.
Yeah.
Never was allowed to watch it again. That was season 2, if that tells you how long it's been since they've seen
I hope
it.
they can watch it now.
I don't know. It may be a psychological block.
I was actually banned from watching The Simpsons in my household, because you have to remember, at one point in time, Bart Simpson was the most dangerous thing in the world.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Bad influence on the kids, for sure.
I miss those days.
Well, Ren and Stimpy, too. That was a show that parents did not want the kids
Super
watching.
gross.
My parents just thought it was disgusting.
Yeah, that's
why they
I don't
didn't
think my
want to
parents
watch it.
even care. They're like, ew, and they'd walk away kind of thing, too. So
I'm pretty sure that at Landon, there were some Saturday nights that I was at your house when Snick was on, and I think we had to sneak to watch Ren and Stimpy at that time.
Yeah, we did. And then we would also hang out and watch at 10 o'clock on MTV. They would flip over to Aeon Flux.
Aeon Flux. Are you talking about Liquid Television? Because
Liquid
that was
Television.
the stuff.
Yep.
Love Liquid Television. Stick Figure Theater. I mean, there was some good stuff on there.
That's where I saw Frog Baseball. Was on
Frog Baseball.
Liquid Television.
Mike Judge. That's where Office Space came from, because they had what's his name at his desk?
Yeah.
If they don't give me
Milton. Yep.
Milton. Yeah, that's where Milton came from.
And that's where Hank Hill came from. Are you
Hill.
the boys that have been whacking off in my
Yeah.
tool shit?
Do you think there are any? So of these shows we mentioned, would you like a movie of any of these other Snick classics? I know we said Clarissa.
If Pixar
we would take Clarissa.
take on Monsters,
Real Monsters. I would take an
That-
I would take that one.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't want Ren and Stimpy messed with anymore. They tried to kind of bring it back, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
for a
it
while.
didn't work out on the reboot. So I say let Ren and Stimpy go.
Well, some other options I would throw out there, because these were a little later in the Snick run, but they did have eventually, like Invader Zim was on Snick.
Invader Zim's always had a
I
following.
thought about that. Yeah, like when I worked at Hot Topic, that was one of the most sought after properties of anything. Period. If it had Zim or Gurr on it, it would sell out. So I would be interested in seeing an Invader Zim full blown movie.
And then also some things like Cat Dog and Rugrats were on Snick eventually.
Cat Dog was okay. Rugrats, there's so many weird fan theories about Rugrats that's insane that I don't know that I'd even want any more of it.
Well, and plus we got a couple Rugrat movies.
Yeah, we
Of
did.
course,
Yeah,
they
we
were-
did get Rugrats.
We did.
Yeah, but they were kind of geared towards the kids. But now that the people who grew up on this stuff now have disposable income and they can expose it to their children, I could see them, kind of not a dark gritty Rugrats reboot, but kind of doing something more towards, or have an eye towards the kids and the audience. What about Hey Arnold? We're getting that Hey Arnold movie coming.
I never liked Hey Arnold.
Well, that's because you were old when it came
What about
out, man.
Doug?
I loved Doug. That was one of my favorites.
After Doug went to ABC, I was kind of just meh.
Yeah, I understand that. And I felt like Doug was a good, like, branching show where it was kind of like, hey, I'm not a kid anymore, but I'm kind of branching into the middle school, I liked it.
Listening to wannabe Beatle bands.
I don't even like the original Beatles, so I wouldn't listen to wannabes.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, no, my wife has told me that is not a good thing to say.
I'm just going to stop you there before we lose fans. But
oh my god!
But
or a co-host.
While we're talking about movies that we may or may not need, I do want to throw in that the announcement came out that a Super Mario Brothers animated movie is in the works. So not another live action that had nothing to do with Mario.
I'm kind of feeling like we need a sequel to that movie.
That was so bizarre.
What's your first name? Mario. What's your last name? Mario.
Yeah, I know. Well, now he's not a plumber anymore.
Your name is Mario. Yeah, and I'm Luigi Mario. God.
Kill me. John Leguizamo's not finest work.
No, it really wasn't. And everything about that movie.
John Leguizamo doesn't really go together, if we're being completely honest.
Hey, he's got some okay stuff.
Ice Age, maybe? I don't know.
I will say Ice Age, probably one of his finer moments.
But
would you say it was a downfalling for Bob Hoskins too?
Bob Hoskins.
Yeah, poor guy. Yeah, seriously. That I don't know. Anyway, that's another
killed.
That's another.
R.I.P. Bob Hoskins.
Yeah, seriously.
Sorry, Bob.
Miss you, buddy.
We remember you fondly. We don't hold Mario against you.
No, we don't.
Small note of my personal file here. First movie I went to.
Yeah.
Was
Mario?
Was Mario down here in a local theater with my mom.
Then you were like, can we never go to the movies again?
I was like, oh, okay, this is cool.
That movie's uncomfortable because it's just so odd. Like
my mother had nothing to say about it. She was like, oh, I'm glad we wanted to see that. Kind of people.
This was your Christmas gift.
Yeah, enjoy.
Yep.
There's something wrong with you.
Didn't they have like robot shoes that they wore or something?
Rocket shoes.
Yep,
rocket shoes. Yeah.
Oh, that movie was so weird.
And the way the movie starts out, it starts with the theme song, and you think, oh, this is going to be all about the video game. What's going on?
Oh, it may
why
surprise
are there
you.
real people?
It may surprise you to know that the writer of that movie had never had any exposure to Mario at all.
What?
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
No,
what? Oh my God! Thank goodness I'm sitting down. I might have just passed the hell out right there, hearing that shocking news.
But this new one, I don't think that'll be the case. So it is under development. It's a joint effort between Nintendo and Illumination Entertainment. While we were talking about Despicable Me earlier, they're the company responsible for Despicable Me.
Okay.
And also in cooperation with Universal Pictures. As you know, Universal is bringing Nintendo World to the parks.
Mm-hmm.
So I really feel like this is kind of one of those things that they're building.
Building
the excitement.
Yeah.
It'll give them more stuff to sell in the parks
Sure.
and maybe build attractions from. So Universal's
Not
really,
bad.
they're doing what they can to kind of keep up with the Joneses. With Disney open up Star Wars Land, they're answering in kind with Nintendo's Land.
Definitely not building any Dark Universe stuff.
Yeah, no.
that was mean. I know, but
yeah. So, but anyway, I thought that's pretty. I'm excited about that. I think it'll be pretty good. But it's.
I'm indifferent. I don't think it'll be bad, but I'm just like, okay.
I don't know. I just kind of like you set it up with movies we're not sure we need. I'm not sure we need another Mario movie.
No. Would you accept another Mario cartoon?
What, like the Captain Lou Albano Mario cartoon that came on back in the 80s?
I had forgotten about Lou Albano. Yeah. And he was, oh my gosh, there are so many cringe-worthy clips from that are just like, is he hitting on a teenager here? Did he say something a little innuendo here?
Hey, I'm not going to badmouth Captain Lou.
I won't either, but I feel like the writing was not good.
Honestly, if Nintendo wants to do an animated movie or an animated reboot, what about Captain N?
Oh, don't get me. I used to love Captain N, even though it was kind of stupid.
Oh, it was absolutely stupid, but Billy gets sucked into the TV, and now he's a captain in the Nintendo world. He gets to fight alongside
the
Samus.
blaster.
Yeah, he has the light gun. He gets to fight along Kid Icarus. He fights Mother Brain and Eggplant Dude from Kid Icarus. Wasn't King Hippo from Punch Out there?
Mm-hmm.
Like Mega Man was in it. Like, Nintendo, if you want to do an animated movie with your property, do another Captain N.
Very He-Man formula-ish is what it was. But don't get me wrong, it was cool.
From there, you can spin it off since it's already an amalgamation of all your properties. Spin it off into a Super Smash Brothers movie.
That's an interesting thought.
That's cool. I like where he's going with that.
Yeah.
Let's put the money there.
I just made the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. You're welcome, everybody.
You did it.
And an attraction for that would be a Super Smash Brothers VR system where you're in there trying to like take down people.
It would have to be like almost like a RPG kind of thing.
Yeah.
But with like fighting levels.
Yeah, it's like, oh, here's a boss.
Multiplayer modes.
You mean like every Nintendo game ever made?
You could kind of make it like almost like an Overwatch kind of setup where it's got story mode kind of stuff. You get some backstory, and then also you get to play multiplayer fighting stuff. That'd be fun.
And speaking of Overwatch, I know this isn't a Nintendo property. There was an Overwatch trailer ahead of the Justice League that I saw this past weekend, and I just thought, I know this isn't your forte, Blizzard, but can you please give us an animated movie about the story of Overwatch? Like, those characters are so damn vibrant. The story's so wide open. Come on, please. Please.
I'd go see that.
Would you, I mean, is that something Blizzard needs to dip their toes in the water with? Is TV?
Well, I mean, they kind of did with the Warcraft movie, but it isn't, the animated feel that I'm talking with Overwatch. But to Blizzard's credit, they have been putting out 5 to 15 minute animated shorts of these stories or of these characters, kind of telling some of their background. But at the same time, I would be so into a 90-minute Overwatch movie, just telling the story of Overwatch.
Not 2.5 hours? You don't want
cool
3 hours?
Cool 9.
No, I want a 7-hour
legacy movie
directed by Peter Jackson.
It's just going to be about taking a gun to somewhere.
You're gonna show up to the Overwatch movie, and it's just going to be a live stream of some 12-year-old playing Overwatch,
kicking the crap out of people.
Yeah, dropping some racial slurs,
being racist and sexist.
Where did you learn that? You're not even old enough for a paper route.
Oh, they're old enough now.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd be down with an Overwatch movie, but I don't know. That's. We can move on, I guess, from the potential movie talk at this point because we've kind of run dry. I know we wanted to talk a little bit about Rampage, but
that's more of a Dwayne Johnson talk than it is about movies.
More Dwayne Johnson for sure. So Landon, I know you had some stuff you wanted to mention for Hot and Streamy today, so you want to move on to that segment at this point.
Yeah, sure, we can get into it. Previously, we mentioned how Disney was getting kind of aggravated at EA for what they're doing with one of their properties in a game. This is a story somewhat similar, as in Disney is pulling the license to a game. The free-to-play kind of Diablo clone, Marvel Heroes, which just recently came to consoles, is going away. Servers are being pulled down on the 31st of December of this year, so you still have a little bit more time, as of this recording, 6-ish weeks. But at the same time, this is kind of a bummer because I put a lot of time into this on the PC, some on the PlayStation 4 once it made the jump to consoles, which I thought would have been a good buoy for this game because I thought, much like Diablo 3, when it came to consoles, it would find a new audience to bring into this game, to spend more money on it. But apparently, for whatever reason, Disney is pulling the license from Gazillion Entertainment, the makers of this game. So get in Marvel Heroes what you can. They have removed all in-game purchases at this point, so it's a legit free-to-play game until the end of this year. But I do kind of feel bad for the console gamers in this aspect, particularly on the Xbox One, because this is a game that just somewhat recently came to the Xbox One. It came to the PlayStation, I want to say March or April of this year. But if I remember correctly, it went full to play on the Xbox back in June, July, and now a handful of months later, something you paid, or in theory could have paid real life money for, is going to be gone in 6 weeks, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no offline mode. There's no, play with bots mode. This is a game that's going to just strictly be rendered unplayable, and any money you put into buying a character, like if you wanted to play a Squirrel Girl or, get that enhanced Deadpool skin that you had to pay real life money for, there's nothing you can do. That purchase is just going to be gone at the end of the year, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah, this really sucks, man. I mean, have we ever had this happen before? I mean, I'm sure there's been some mobile games and stuff that have tanked out or fell apart, but this is this is a broad spectrum of things it's touched. PC, consoles.
The closest thing I could think would be something like maybe a mobile game where you did
that's what I was
in-game
thinking.
transactions, and then it was just gone.
Because it fell apart on them. Maybe development didn't work out. But I mean, I think that you're more accepting of a mobile game falling apart on you.
Maybe.
Whereas I don't know that we've had. I want to say that we haven't, but I can almost promise you there's probably several PC games that have went to trash. But I don't know a PC game that has been shared across to the consoles. That's
especially when you're talking like a game that's online only, like you couldn't play offline.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything else. I mean, I'm sure there's some there's like this is all you got. Yeah. If you beat the story, you've done it.
It seems unprecedented.
I would imagine like. There have been MMOs on the PC side where you have to buy the game and then, put forth a monthly subscription, and then eventually it just becomes unprofitable and they shut the servers down. I think that would be the closest comparison we have, but generally with an MMO on a PC, it's going to be, at least a couple years in theory before they pull the servers down and declare it a complete loss, where it's like, again, like the PC gamers in this aspect, I really don't feel too bad for. Yeah, it sucks, but we, and I'm including myself in this, I played a lot of it on the PC. We've had years with this, like to get our time in. It's like, honestly, it's the Xbox One users I feel the worst for, because again, you haven't had this for 4 months and they're going to pull it down. And unless you made these purchases relatively recently, I don't think there's anything Microsoft or Sony could do to get you your money back, and that just sucks.
Yeah, you're stuck with whatever you put into it. I don't know. I'm hoping somebody comes along and scoops it up.
It's a bit of a cautionary tale, don't you think?
It is true
for people who like go in there and like to do their in-game purchases. I mean, it's
not looking good on the EA end.
I think it's a lesson learned for sure. I mean, you got to think to yourself, I'm accepting some risk here that at some point this game, without notice, could be ripped out from us.
Could go away.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I mean, go ahead.
I was just going to say, luckily, I haven't fallen victim to this.
I didn't. Yeah. I mean, when I play stuff, it's like, it takes money. Yeah, no, I'm cool. I'm just going to grind.
That's typically my approach. I really... very rarely have I spent money on any microtransaction, DLC, anything like that. The only thing I can think of is for Minecraft. We've done it a time or two for Garrett.
If I've done anything, it's for costumes or I don't know. It's looks. It has nothing to do with like progression in the game.
Yeah.
It's all cosmetic. It doesn't change the game in that aspect.
And hopefully it was like $5 or less.
Oh no, yeah. I would never do anything over $4.99. Yeah. Even then, I'm like, I've spent more money on food I didn't eat, but at the same time, when it comes to that, I'm super, super cautious about what I spend my money on.
I just think to myself, like, I'm spending money for something fake that doesn't exist.
And that's
nothing
where
tangible.
This is kind of a separate issue, but that's how I feel about digital music. Mm-hmm. I own nothing.
Yeah,
I own nothing to say this is mine. Yeah, I bought data.
Yeah,
and it's like I have nothing to.
There's nothing tangible.
Yeah, there's nothing there that I can hold on to.
If all of a sudden infrastructure broke down, you wouldn't have anything.
And
you're paying to the access of these ones and zeros.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I don't like that. Yeah. There's a part of me that does not like that. Granted, I can download the music and pass it along. I tell you, probably the worst concept of this for me is books. Mm-hmm. When you buy Kindle books and stuff like that, because you can't even let people borrow them more than 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's stupid. Like if I want to hand somebody my digital book,
it's yours.
It should be theirs until they give it back to me. Right. And granted, I'm sure it's like. It's one of those things where they're trying to prevent, the Joneses from hanging onto your lawnmower for a season. But at the same time...
Yeah. They want to get that money, so they don't want you to just give it to them forever.
Yeah, exactly. No, that sucks.
But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. But I really like it, and I haven't taken advantage of this nearly as much as I could. But I like it when you get Blu-rays that come with a digital code.
Oh, absolutely, all three.
I like it when you get. I like it when you get that, like for example, comic books that come with a digital code.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing is totally cool to me because I still have my tangible thing that's never going to go away, and then I also have access to it online.
Books don't have that. I don't think the book industry has embraced that because they want you, if you want to read it digitally, you can rebuy the book.
Yeah.
It's a lot less than a paperback or a hardcover.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're rebuying the book, and now they're trying to sell you in that industry is what they with audiobooks. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, for half the price of the audiobook, we'll give you the audiobook of this book, and it's like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that.
How does Audible work?
Audible's the same way. You just buy the book. But
you buy the book. I thought it was like a subscription thing.
You can do a subscription, and I think it's on a borrow program. Like you don't own anything. It's okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're listening to this, you enjoy an auditory reading.
Audible sponsors a lot of podcasts.
That's what I'm saying.
I was going to say,
Just
Audible, if you sponsor another podcast, holla at your boys.
So what Matt's trying to say is Audible is amazing.
Well, here's what I'll say about Audible.
We love Audible. It's the best.
I'll give you the pros and cons, and the pros are a lot more than the cons.
Okay, Shakespeare.
The con of it is you don't own anything on a subscription. The pro of it is it's easier to obtain a book for cheaper and sometimes free if you've bought an Audible.
Yeah.
Also, they have what's they're in it with Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, they have what's called Audible channels, where they have different genres of books that you can listen to, and they rotate those constantly. Because I've listened to I don't know how many short stories, and I guess they're all short stories in a sense because they don't seem very long in their sci-fi region and some of the fantasy books and stuff. And some of them are upcoming, some of them are classics, and they're really good. I mean, the way that people read them and stuff like that. So it's I like Audible. Yeah. I think it's a good thing.
So for your free 30-day trial of Audible, head to audible.com/please give us money. That's capital P, please give us money.
Don't forget that code.
Not a real code.
You can try it.
Disclaimer, not a real code.
Not a real code. Oh, you need to put that in edit. Not a real code.
Oh, yeah, we need to do that. Audible, please sponsor us.
Just saying, guys. But one of us in this trio reads, and I'm just saying.
Yeah, that leads me to my next question. What's a book?
I knew that was coming. When I said book, and
what's this witchcraft?
This discombobulated expression comes upon his face. I'm like, yeah.
And a follow up. What's a duck?
What's a duck?
Why are there no pictures of Batman?
Because he's the one taking them. Just saying. Peter Parker syndrome. So I don't know. And I think it falls the same. We're back to the core of it is this is a digital game in all aspects of it, because I mean they just released some kind of disc, didn't they? Didn't we get this a disc version, or is this a standalone? No, I'm thinking of Friday the 13th.
It's downloadable.
Yeah,
Friday the 13th went disc, and that's another one. You gambled on that one. That was a huge gamble because that was even a Kickstarter.
Well, I think when you give to a Kickstarter,
you do.
It's a gamble.
Oh, trust me, I have been burnt.
Yeah. It's really more of a charitable donation at some point.
It is.
Yeah, that is the most accurate description of kickstarting any video game project ever. Like, I'm currently being burned by 3 kickstarted video games.
But the idea was enough for you to say, you can have my money.
Yeah, exactly.
And
if something ever happens, it'll be a nice, pleasant surprise.
Yeah, there you go. And I mean, I'm sure Friday the 13th was right in that category.
By the way, speaking on Friday the 13th, check out Black Friday deals. I particularly saw Best Buy is going to have it on the cheap. So if you have not yet gotten into Friday the 13th, the game, Black Friday, Best Buy.
Those people look like they are going to put some work into that game. At least their map, as it were, as we saw earlier, looks like they're really got it planned out. And that's one that's like a success story where, this is not a success story.
Right.
I hope somebody buys the rights to this or somehow grabs it and develops it, or some saving grace comes in here for this Marvel Heroes. I don't think it will. I know that
the issue is the Marvel license.
I know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Maybe it wasn't necessarily the game because I mean, like, these are people that made Diablo and Diablo 2, and there were some people that worked on Diablo 3 working on this game. So the game itself wasn't the problem. Yeah, it kind of got grindy at some point. Sure. And yeah, the enemies were kind of samey.
Yeah.
But like the big caveat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fighting foot soldiers when all you want to do is fight Shredder or heck Bebop and Rocksteady.
I was okay. I was okay on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game.
But the big draw-in was the Marvel license, and without the Marvel license, I just don't know if there's going to be an audience for
I was thinking it reminds me, they could go in the direction of, like, if you remember on the Super Nintendo, there was a game called Play Action Football.
Oh,
and they didn't pay anybody a license for anything. It was just a football game that had teams that looked similar to your team.
There was a baseball, RBI baseball. There was tons of sports games that did this. Could we do this with this game?
Yeah, so you have
Squid
to
Girl.
change the superheroes, like Wolverine would be Clawman.
The Famisher.
Ghost City of Heroes.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen. The people that made City of Heroes needs to team up with Gizmillion Entertainment and make City of Heroes the dungeon crawler.
There you go.
And you can make your own superhero. Boom. Again, Hollywood, are you listening?
Human Torch is Flame Boy.
Flame Boy.
I want to say, I don't know that somebody or a friend of mine, Greg, has said that this game is very similar to the DC game that's out. That's a digital game.
Well, that's more like over-the-shoulder RPG.
It is, but it has the same type of deals where you can do in-game purchases, you can do
and it does unlock certain DLC and stuff like that. Yeah. That's a possibility, but I mean, like DC Online, ironically enough, was the game that launched $59.99 with a $14.99 per month subscription. They realized, hey, this isn't viable. Let's go free to play. But it at least is still online, unlike Marvel Heroes here in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's crushing. It's like, hey, first of the year, guess what you just lost? Everything you cared about. No,
Happy 2018. The $400 you spent to get that limited edition Gwenpool skin is gone.
We got your money.
Yep, pretty much.
No, I don't think they're that way. I think that this losing of the license, and I guess we could blame Kennedy. I don't know.
John F. Kennedy?
No, you cannot blame him.
I think he asked us what we could do for our country.
No, he asked, what can we do for our video game developers?
Well, I was going to say, and similarly, what can we do for the video game? Give them our money and then just let it die.
And then let it die. Watch it burn in flames that goes straight down the crapter.
And your vote Quimby.
That's a raptor and crap crossover.
That's right. It's eating the crap.
That sounds like a South Park monster. It's the craptor.
The Paraptor craptor.
Call the coon.
By the way, speaking of South Park and free-to-play games, their new phone app, Phone Destroyer, is kind of a fun game. If you're a fan of South Park and these card-based games you can play on your phone, pretty funny.
We talked about that a while back. I remember when they announced that was coming. We talked about that game. So when did that drop? Recently?
Yeah. Somewhat recently. I think it's been live for a couple weeks. And yes, before the fans get in and hit me on the forum or Twitter or whatever, I am aware that it is kind of ironic that Matt and Trey had an episode ripping on free-to-play games and premium purchases, yet they have one. The irony is not lost on me, but at the same time, like,
I'm sure it's not lost on
them. If you can't make fun of yourself, who can you make fun of?
Exactly. That is absolutely 100% true. But it's a fun enough game, and I do like that at least while there are new episodes of South Park, this season they have events that kind of correlate to what happened on the show this past week. So I think that's cool if you're paying attention to the show as well. And I mean, free to play is free to play up until a point where you do run into a wall where it's like, maybe if I do spend a little bit of money, it'll help. But at the same time, I haven't hit that absolute wall where it's like I have to pay money, period, to keep going. So check it out.
From the late to the party category, I've been playing Stick of Truth, and it's fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
It's okay.
Stick of Truth was really fun.
Haven't moved on to the Fractured Butthole yet. But
the
Stick of Truth is a good game. I made a thief.
There you go.
Yeah,
Thief is fun.
He is fun to play. So that's been a good time.
Well, next time I see you, I'll let you borrow the Fractured Butthole.
Okay, sounds good.
I was about to say that tells the testament of that game is you can still pick it up.
I'd never played it before. It's new to me.
New to you. Kind of the Assassin's Creed genre with me. It's new to me because I'm behind.
Speaking of, Assassin's Creed Origin might be a dark horse candidate for my game of the year.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. I mean, that's a huge statement.
That is a big statement.
I like the setting I thought was going to be cool, but the gameplay and everything they put into it, I'm blown away with what they've done with that Assassin's Creed Origin. Like it has really paid off, giving this development team a little bit more, a year, by not going annualized sequel after annualized sequel. Like, if this is what you can do with a couple years as opposed to 7 months development, take a year off every other. I love Assassin's Creed Origins.
Take some time, polish it.
Yep.
And Shadow of is also fun too.
Yeah, you were playing Shadow of War. That's true.
Yeah. By the way, Wario64 on Twitter. He will save you money, especially this Christmas.
I'm not gonna lie. I did jump in one of his deals, which I'm gonna have to fight Toys R Us for them to actually make it happen. Yeah, honor. I don't know that they'll do it, and if I lose the fight, I lose the fight. But if I win,
challenge them to an honor duel.
That's right.
Brian Urlacher.
I'm Brian Urlacher.
I enjoyed that commercial. Yeah, I have not jumped in on any Wario 64 things, but Landon, when you were saying that, I think the audio cut out a little bit. So what you were saying is follow Wario 64 on Twitter because what he does is he throws out notifications when there are pricing inaccuracies or like somebody accidentally
pricing mistakes, or if he finds glitches,
or sales.
Sales, glitches in coupon codes. I mean, I don't know where this guy gets information from, but he is on top of it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he's on top of it. This past Friday, I was able to get Shadow of War, the Gold Edition, digital code delivered to my email, which is why I was still able to cash this in. Retails for $99.99. Somebody at Walmart.com mispriced it to $9.99.
So I saw that. So you got in on that deal?
Yeah, I got in on it in like 5 minutes after I got my order complete and my code for Xbox Live. The listing was pulled down. Wow. So a lot of this stuff is you have to act when you see it because websites will
it'll get corrected real fast. Yeah.
But seriously, keep an eye on him, especially this holiday season. If you want to get a game or if you want to get a gift for the gamer in your life, especially with Black Friday coming up, and especially around this time of year, websites, as we found out, will make pricing mistakes, and Wario 64 is there to prey on.
That's right. He is the vulture in the sky upon your retailers.
Yeah. Now, sometimes I had an issue with BestBuy.com a couple months ago where they mispriced Mario plus Rabbids and they wouldn't honor it. They just refunded my money. Sometimes that will happen. And in situations like this, if you have an option to pick it up locally or get it delivered digitally, always do so because sometimes you can beat the word to the store as opposed to the website.
Yeah.
So, Wario 64 on Twitter, follow him. He's my boy. Even though I don't know him. He might be a bot for all I know. But God, what a wonderful bot.
He might be a lady.
Maybe an AI lady.
I'm okay with it.
Maybe the one that just got rights.
Bot overlords.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Landon, we posted that video on Twitter this past week of the robot that can do backflips.
Oh, yeah. Atlas?
Yeah. That's pretty freaking amazing.
That thing's a ninja.
This is how Skynet starts, everybody.
With backflips?
Yeah. I mean, if they can do backflips, what can it not do? That's the question.
True. Evidently not do front flips because it dove right into the thing like it was tackling people. Though I'm saying if you want to cut down on concussions, let's just change them to robots.
They're getting to the point now where I remember watching a video a couple of years ago of robots playing soccer.
Oh, that's hilarious!
And it was just comical because they couldn't move, they weren't agile. You know that if one happened to kick a ball towards the net, the goalie would just fall over the wrong direction. That was pretty fun. But the next thing we're going to see is an updated version of that, and they're just like dominating.
Oh yeah.
They're like doing parkour off the walls and flipping.
Then the whole thing is it's all about injuries. You know, did they blow out a freaking servo or a coolant line? It's like, that guy's down. He's just blowing on a coolant line in his leg, and he's just out there bleeding out on the.
Yeah, but I think it'd be more fun to watch than that newer version of BattleBots, which kind of sucked.
Yeah, it was boring.
Oh, and speaking of newer versions that kind of sucked, there's a somewhat spiritual successor to Mutant League Football on Xbox One right now. It's called Mutant Football League. Real big stretch. It's kind of like Blitz, but gorier. And this is coming from somebody who loved the original Mutant League Football.
That's disappointing.
Well,
but very much.
You know, we talked about there's I think there's a Kickstarter out there
trying to push it
for a sequel, a real sequel to Mutant League Football. So instead of going and wasting your time on Mutant Football League, go throw a couple dollars at the Mutant League Football people.
Yeah, so you can gamble.
Yeah. Let's get
exactly.
See if that developer.
After we gave that glowing review for kickstarting games earlier.
Yeah, I was about to say. So you can find out if that developer buys a new car or actually does what he says. Or they. Or she.
Or it.
Or the AI's got you money.
Oh, I have one more thing from the Late to the Party file.
Oh, goodness. This file is getting thick.
And it was that I had been recommended like 3 times over 2 weeks to watch Monster Squad.
Oh, yeah, I was supposed to bring that up too. Yeah, sorry.
So I watched it.
And? Get out. Anyway.
It was an for me.
You're an
But I didn't see it when I was a kid. Maybe if I saw it.
It was good because it's just I like it because it's comical, it's lighthearted. They're not trying to build any kind of world other than the world you get.
Yeah.
And it seems like they could have had a couple other movies from it before and after. Yeah, I didn't care.
Yeah.
They're not getting that cast together.
It was just one of those things that I watched it and I was like, there were some parts that
Wolfman had arms is probably a big one.
That was a funny part. They did totally rack Wolfman, and that was pretty funny.
But. And then the neighbor who they thought was like a Nazi.
Oh yeah,
and he was actually a freaking Holocaust survivor. That's pretty good.
That was good. But otherwise, I felt like Landon did about Mutant Football League.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think about that review.
Did I rile you up enough so you can do your premium roast this week?
You know what I want to roast on? I have seen a lot of stuff, and this comes from something we actually use. And
toilet paper.
Toilet paper. I'm so tired of the scratchy stuff. No. I am so sick of why we are dependent on, like, Rotten Tomatoes to tell us whether a movie is good or not. Who the cares? I mean, who cares what they think? I've literally seen numerous ones that are like, that's a 23. It's probably a movie I enjoyed. You know, and then, like, they're getting so diverse. And all of these, like, you know, we're the first and foremost on what you should think of this movie. And the whole big hoopla about they were holding their score back. Who gives a crap? Boo-hoo. You held back a 20. I don't care. I don't care. I mean, it's constant. Like, you've got all these, you've got IMDb, you've got Rotten Tomatoes, and insert name of other organization that want you to feel how they feel about it. But at the same time, it's hurting them on you feeling that way about it. Because you're not researching this. You're not going to depend on them if they're constantly wrong. So why would we care?
Yeah. But Rotten Tomatoes is crowdsourced.
But they still have a critics review.
But it's like all critics.
That's what I'm saying. And everyone is. God, they are. Let me tell you. Pick a movie you like.
Well, I mean, it's all it's all professional.
But that's what I'm saying. They were like, we're holding back our review.
But they give you the audience score too.
And they did give the audience score right up the front. And that's another thing. It's subjective. It's like, I would rather find somebody who I know has the same taste in movies and see what they thought about it, and then go with that. Mm-hmm. And I'm the same here. If you guys don't like what we think about something, don't depend on us for your movie reviews. It's like, if you're like, on Monster Squad, then you probably won't like anything I like.
That's not true.
That's true.
Way to paint in broad brushes, buddy.
Yeah, no, let me tell you, this paint roller, it don't stop. But I'm just like, I'm so fed up with, like, and there was outcry over this. I can't believe they're holding a review. Who gives a crap? Are you going to still see the movie? Then what do you care? What do you care? It's not like you can negotiate at the box office. Rotten Tomatoes says it's 23. I need a couple dollars off. It's not going to happen. You're not going to do that.
Maybe eventually when Regal does.
No, they're still going to charge you.
Yeah, right.
They're still going to charge you $15 to see insert blockbuster at title.
Yeah.
Or at release.
Yeah.
You're still going to pay that. Yeah. Yeah, 2 weeks from now when everybody's told you what it's about, then you can pay $8 or $5 or $2 or hell, they give you a $5 coupon to show up. Something of that nature.
I'd show up if they paid me.
Oh, absolutely. You send me a coupon for a free popcorn, I'm there.
I don't know. It still gives me hesitation whenever I hear blah 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 movie is holding reviews until after it comes out. To me, even this at this point in movies and everybody's a critic online, that right there is a massive red flag to me. When the embargo for reviews is up after it's out, that still makes me kind of look at it sideways. It's like, what are you hiding?
Yeah, maybe so. But I mean, in the bigger picture of things, who owns them? Who owns all these organizations? Is it somebody that's a provider of this movie you're watching? I think
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey. Let me tell you something. The red pants, buddy, they got it. They got it. And he's wearing pants.
Yeah, he
wears the big pants.
Well, these days he definitely wears.
He definitely wears pants. He's not always wore pants.
He's dressed in like a suit now.
He's not Winnie Poohing around.
No, he's not just shirt and no pants.
He's not pooing around.
That's a bold.
He's not Donald Ducking.
He's not Donald Ducking. But I don't know. I just don't care for it anymore. Like, there was no less than 10 articles in some of the stuff I've read, like when I was perusing through my news feed. Oh, they're holding their reviews. I don't care. I don't care what they're holding. All I care about is where's Superman.
I was going to say, so that's a good segue into asking the question, because we do have one member of our team who's seen Justice League.
Uh-huh.
So Landon, not that you could probably say it's at this minute, but
no.
How
first,
far?
middle, or last? And don't give me this crap that I know he's in the first for a couple seconds. I already know that. I want to know when he becomes a integral part.
Is it like way towards the end? What do you think?
What
You're
can
going
you
to see
say?
this movie, man. You're going to see this.
No, not until I know where Superman is.
He's in the movie. You're going to see
Bullcrap. No, I won't because I'll wait on
No,
Man of Steel 2.
if anybody's spouting bullcrap, it's you saying you're not going to see
I'm not going to see it in the theater. I will see it, but I won't see it in the theater. I will red box the piss out of this if he's at the end.
Okay, fine. Then you're going to miss out on the best on-screen performance of Superman we've had in decades.
That's what I've heard. Now, that's one of the big reviews I've heard.
Justice League finally got Superman right in this world.
That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know, and I'll go see it.
There you go.
Because he is the Justice League, whether you guys want to admit it or not. I mean, you guys get so much of your Batman. I get so little of Mr. Superman. So little.
Especially the Superman you have been given. Like it is night and day from, like, I'm not going to get into spoilers on Justice League because y'all haven't seen. I know a lot of our listeners haven't either. But BVS Superman to Justice League Superman, it is night and freaking day. Like Zack Snyder, I'm convinced, does not know how Superman works.
He doesn't do Superman.
He just doesn't get Superman. So,
Good.
but like in this movie, it's like, okay, this is Superman. This is what we've been missing.
How and without spoilers, are we talking comic Superman? Are we talking like this is like the best of Superman you've seen?
I'm talking in the sense that it gets Superman, that Superman is supposed to be the hopeful character. He is the positive guy. He is looking for the best. This is the Superman that I'm talking about.
Okay.
He is the truth, justice, and American way. Like flag bearer, like not to steal from Captain America's gimmick or whatever.
Well, he is the Captain American of DC. I mean,
he kind of
more or less.
Like and especially with the way that and I'm not going to get into spoilers, and I'm trying really hard not to. But just with the tone that this world had been set up coming out of BVS, where it was just so dark and depressing, and everything is just sad trombone noises, like.
I'm sorry, I just thought of like, instead of like the Inception like baritone, it was like
it's like like I said, they finally got Superman right, and I'm looking forward to more of the Justice League.
I was about to say, can I ask without it getting
No, you may not.
I'm going to, and I'm doing it.
All right.
So do you feel that spin-off movies are justified now? Like a Flash, an Aquaman?
I don't know if they're justified, but I'm more open to the idea.
But are they
of
Justice League?
Existing.
Stop it.
Sorry. So he's more open to the idea. So
okay,
that's
cool.
good, yeah.
Cool.
Like I still don't know if we have enough for a Cyborg movie. I'm interested. I would probably go see an Aquaman movie just because the way they set that character up. Yeah, and Momoa is a pretty damn good Aquaman, but the way they set up the Aquaman character, there's more that I would be interested in seeing. I would straight up
see
watch
a lot of him. What do you want, his pants off? What is this, Donald Ducking?
Yeah, he's reverse Donald Ducking. But I want to see more of the Flash. Yeah. Like, the Flash was so fun in this movie.
I felt like it was a good cast.
Like Batman versus Superman, we talk about how everything is just so dark and gritty and depressing, and there's zero levity in it. The Flash was such a great addition to this universe. Like, I want to see more of this Flash. And this is coming from somebody who's a fan of Homeboy in the Arrowverse, who's the Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and they said those worlds are separate, which I think is a good thing because they're able to tell a different story. Mm-hmm. So I still think they should put Nightwing on the TV. But anyway, I was going to ask you something, and I was going to ask.
I heard that this is really kind of the only negative thing.
I mean, I'm already sold because Superman is Superman, so I'm fine now.
But this is really kind of the only negative thing that I've heard from anybody. It was just one voice, so it's not speaking for the populace. But
was it Rotten Tomatoes?
But they did say that it felt a little bit like Wonder Woman took a step back in this movie.
They almost have to, though. I will say that.
But I mean, like, instead of being a strong, like, front woman who was not sexualized at all, that she was a little bit eye candy in this movie.
Oh, that's disappointing. Well, I mean, BVS kind of did the same thing.
So that's what I'm saying. It was back to that style.
There were a couple shots where I did feel like it was framed to draw your eye to Gal Gadot, which, I mean, she is a very attractive lady, but at the same time, like, there were some scenes where her butt was very just like front and center from you know, a back shot. For some reason, they just had to frame up her butt, which, I mean, it's a nice one, but at the same time, like I understand, like, going from Wonder Woman. Heck, I mean, even some of the Amazons, some of the armor they had, I noticed, was a little scaled back from what they were wearing in Wonder Woman. Yeah. So maybe to that aspect, but I don't think that she necessarily takes a step back as a character, because, I mean, you do kind of have to get out of the way and let characters like Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg Steppenwolf establish himself, because unlike the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where you had 5 movies to establish A, who these characters are, B, what their position is in this universe, you had 3 movies, maybe not even that, to get the DC Cinematic Universe set up to where you can have all these same characters come and play on the screen at the same time with each other. Because, I mean, there is some of the movie where you do have to establish, where's Victor Stone and what happened to him? Who's this Barry Allen kid? Can we go convince Arthur Curry to join us? I mean, they do have to go get the team together, but at the same time, that's kind of a necessity, because DC wanted to shotgun this universe to get all the money that Marvel's getting with the Avengers.
Does it feel very Avengers-like?
When it gets going, I did feel like it hit some of the same tones as the Avengers, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because the first Avengers, I still think it's not a perfect movie, but it is so much damn fun, and I don't think you could have had a better coming together of all these, like, top-level guys to work interchangeably. Like, one of the highlights of Justice League for me is when the team finally does come together, and they play off of each other's strengths. Like, Aquaman will launch somebody into the air to set it up for Flash to come in, you know, off the wall and crack him and bounce him to Wonder Woman, who's going to smash him with their bracers. I loved how they were able to play with each other and set each other up. That was one of the big enjoyments I got out of this movie.
That's cool. That's what I was wondering with the juice being injected into it.
And I will say, even though on the Thursday episode, Jay and I talked about how 15-20% was, you know, that might have been the Joss. There were some dialogue lines and stuff where it's like, okay, that is something Joss Whedon straight up wrote.
That's the juice.
Yeah, I can picture him sitting, like, in the background writing and be like, "Yep, I like that one."
Yeah.
But and that was kind of like some aspects that took me out. But one of the bigger things that took me out is some of these graphics just look straight up hokey. Particularly, yes, particularly Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf might be the dumbest villain I've ever come across. Like he looks like a PlayStation 2 like polygon put together villain. And Cyborg also kind of had some really, you know, hokey looking CG moments, but for the most part I thought they pulled Cyborg off well. But Steppenwolf I think is a big, like, I don't want to say negative, but I think he's one of the Link Wink.
I think you got it right the first time.
Take 4.
One of the weaker links in this movie, and that's disappointing, because, like, you ask if it feels like Avengers. One of the things that was really great about the Avengers is they had a great foil in Loki, who could go toe to toe with everybody else. But I mean, it's like, at one point you're going to realize, be like, okay, Steppenwolf is just completely done. He's just he's delaying the inevitable. Like this movie is over. We're just like just wrap it up, guys. But like, I enjoyed more of that movie than I didn't. I would I said it on Facebook. It's not the Citizen Kane of superhero movies, but there are way worse ones. If I gave it a 7 of 10 or a B-, I was very happy with it.
It's not bad.
And also, I don't understand why Henry Cavill, like you can tell where the reshoots are, because you're going to notice something's wrong with his face, and that's because they had to CG out a mustache, and it is so damn noticeable.
Oh,
so
no.
just
that's
Yeah, those hokey graphics. That was like, are we just going to pretend this like nobody else is seeing this?
They should have just had him like hold his hand over his mouth when
maybe he should have wore a bandana over his face.
Yeah,
he shows up with a bandana over his
face. Yeah, he cut himself with his kryptonite razor shaving.
Yeah. It's the only way I know how to shave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but that's what you get. I mean, these to say reshoots, it's like, oh, we'll just do a reshoot. Yeah, that's easier said than done because these people, their whole career is built on, I get done with this project at this time and I go to the next project and start doing this. And if in that project he had to have a mustache, I guess, and probably had to slim down quite a bit. I can't remember what the mustache was for. Wasn't that for crap, what is he in? I can't remember. But anyway, I guess he had to grow a mustache and it had to be natural. They didn't want to get in the costuming department, and they're like, "Oh, you got to come back and do Superman." He's like, "I can't shave this mustache. I'm in the middle of the production on the other one."
Well, it was kind of like in the original Avengers, at the very end of the movie, the post-credit sequence of them sitting around eating shawarma.
Yeah.
They went back and reshot that because the line of Robert Downey Jr. talking about a shawarma place a couple blocks away, like that got a really big pop. So they decided to go back and introduce that as a post-credit sequence. They reassembled the cast, no pun intended, and Chris Evans had already moved on to his next project and had a full-blown beard. That's why the way it was shot in that one scene, Chris Evans' hand is over his face, and it looks like he's just eating shawarma.
So it works. You
never see the beard. So it does work. You can find ways to shoot around Henry Cavill's mustache because those scenes are very noticeable. I'm just giving y'all a heads up.
It'd be funny if it was just like interspersed in the movie, and it was like they just left it, and it's like, what is that? An evil Superman? What's going on here?
Oh my gosh, it's Bizarro.
Yeah. He has a goatee on, so he's clearly from the darkest timeline.
Absolutely, goatees make everyone dark.
Yep.
Oh, he's in Mission Impossible. That's what it was. He's in the new Mission Impossible.
So, Matt, are you going to the theater to see it now?
Now that I know he is the best Superman we can get, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to sell you on it. And sorry to hijack your segment.
No, it's fine. I just that segment kind of. I just wanted to know my fury is with this bull crap of we're dependent on what everybody else thinks. I am not. Be a free thinker.
I will tell you, the way that you feel, I direct it more towards individual critics because I do get this feeling like, who are you to tell me that this is not something I would enjoy?
I have never agreed with paper critics, and I, as it used to be the newspaper, they had, especially the one locally.
Yeah.
She can get bent.
She is the worst.
But it does feel like to me when you have like an amalgamation of like lots of opinions, that it helps. And for me, like especially because
on a questionable movie, I get it.
I don't get to go to the theaters often.
Right.
Number 2, movies are expensive. So like right now, let's say I also like that Rotten Tomatoes has the audience score because we've talked about before there can be a huge difference. Justice League is a good example.
Massive.
Because I think the Justice League score the Rotten Tomatoes score is like a 25, but the audience score is like an 86.
Yeah, everybody loves it.
Yeah, so that to me, I would look at that and be like, oh, so I would take the critic score with a grain of salt in that case. But then there are other times that it's really close. And so if I were, let's say, throwing them down on the table, if I were making a choice between Thor Ragnarok and Justice League, and I probably will have to make that decision at some point, and I was just looking at scores, then I'd be like, wow, Thor has a great critical score and a great audience score, and Justice League doesn't. So maybe my money's better spent here,
I think you know that before you even look, but
you're correct. But at the same time, I'm just saying that's how I feel about it.
I can understand it on a not this genre movie, okay? Like World of Warcraft, it's like, what is this?
Yeah.
Let me look up the score on it, sure. But I don't know. I just don't feel like, I guess I just don't feel like someone withholding their score till the movie's out is a big deal. I don't care.
Haven't we seen movies that have been like, they wanted their scores out as soon as possible?
Sure, they wanted everybody to think they were great.
Because they know they've got a winner.
Right? They want your money, but
I think
in this fact,
with Deadpool.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Deadpool results came out really early, I feel like.
Ryan Reynolds doing Ryan Reynolds. We need no score. But I don't know, man. It's just, I just don't care for it.
Yeah.
I don't even look anymore. I don't care. I mean, I use IMDb, I use Rotten Tomatoes for one thing, and that's like finding money or understanding who was in it, or, you know, difference of like why the directors changed, because they've got a lot more information than a score. And it's a good thing too, because if that's all you're generating, you can generate right out of my freaking site. So I don't know. I don't care for it, and I feel like, you know, everybody's a critic of something. Everybody's a critic of something.
Yeah, welcome to the internet.
Exactly.
Hell, we're doing a podcast where we're critiquing
exactly.
something.
And I mean, and like I said, if you don't like what I say about certain things and it's consistent,
suck it.
Suck it, number one.
Sorry,
but number two, don't take my opinion. Don't listen to me. But if we share the same interests, then you should listen to what I say every moment of it, every second. Repeat it, download it 2 or 3 times.
In fact, you might want to listen to. In fact, you might want to listen to more of Matt on his own podcast about something he really enjoys.
That I enjoy greatly, even now. So. But you know, I don't know. And even then, I don't really share. I don't say this is how you should feel about it.
No, I know you don't.
And I'm like, this scene was awful, and you should say the same, or turn me off. Just kidding. I need the downloads. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, I don't know. I just feel like that whole thing, I don't want that to become the thing now. It's like, oh, they're withholding the new Star Wars things. What could it be? You know what it is. Don't even be stupid. You know, don't be an ignoramus.
I don't think they'll withhold Star Wars scores.
Oh, God, no. It'll be released before the movie is.
Yeah.
It's 100%, baby.
Yeah.
How do you know? Yeah, it's Star Wars.
Yeah, they said the exact same thing when Episode 1 rolled around.
Yeah,
it's Star Wars. How can it not be good?
And think about
Lisa over here. Let me tell you how.
Yeah, he goes, this is the best movie you'll ever see.
Are you an angel?
Oh, God. The worst pickup line. Because I was looking at your tag and made in heaven. So, I don't know. I just don't care for it. I don't care for any of that, really. And
yeah,
I will say the local paper here is just, I hate her reviews. I've hated her reviews since day one. I don't even know why she has a job.
I remember when Serenity came out, and she said director Josh Wheatstone's cult team is like, okay, what the hell? Are you not even trying at this point?
Josh Wheatstone.
We
should start a Twitter account with that name,
Josh Wheatstone, and troll everything she says. I would do it. I don't know. I don't want to throw her on the bus, but if you,
yeah, I was going to say, why are we dancing around her name?
I don't want to dance around her name because there is a certain thing as defamation or defamation of character, and that's a real thing. And as Sue happy as this world is, let's not get into that. It's almost like the rights to a song. But if you can find the Knoxville News Sentinel, you can find who does the movie reviews. Just saying.
On a completely unrelated topic, pickles leave a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not a fan of them. Whenever I go to Chick-fil-A, I always make sure to get pickles off of my sandwich.
They're straight salty in my world, and I do not tolerate them.
Had a conversation just yesterday with some people about drinking pickle juice.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did it clear you out?
Because
could you pass a drug test?
Back in my childhood days, they used to sell pickle pops at the roller skating rink. Just frozen pickle juice.
What monstrous place did you visit?
Because this sounds
like
crappy,
a fake thing.
Like leftover from
sounds
the 70s
crappy.
roller skating rink. But that's where we spent our
Are we talking about
misspent youth?
Are we talking about Skate Town, USA?
No, it wasn't Skate Town. This was off of Chapman Highway. But,
oh gosh.
Oh God.
Oh God. Did you have to have a weapon?
It wasn't the classiest place, I'll say that. But they did have pickle pops, and I enjoyed them.
Pickle pops.
Anyway.
I have heard of pickle pops. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah. So, yeah. And on that happy note, I feel like we can call this one a show.
That's right. Pickle pops ends all conversations.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a pickle pop? What exactly?
Wait. Time to go. Look at my watch.
Before it is Thanksgiving.
It is.
When you're hearing this in your earballs, it's Thanksgiving, and I know Landon. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys. I know Landon wanted to throw out a question before we wrap up. So, Landon, what is your question of the week?
Yeah, in honor of the holiday and being thankful for stuff, I thought it would be a good time to ask, what are you thankful for this year out of the nerd world? Because I think we've got a lot of stuff to be thankful for this year when it comes to, you know, comic books and video games and Star Warses and Trekses. So, like, I'm curious, what are y'all thankful for when it comes to that?
Yeah. Do you want us to answer?
I mean, I got my answer, but I wanna give y'all the opportunity to jump in here first.
I have mine.
What am I thankful for? I would say I'm thankful for. Well, should I just say Star Wars in general?
Oh God!
But
are you thankful for all the porgs? Oh God!
Absolutely.
I'm not thankful for porgs, but
you're thankful that Build-A-Bear is going to have a build your own porg just in time for Christmas.
Oh, no, thank you. No,
don't spoil his surprise.
I'm thankful. I would say I'm thankful for the Switch because it has delivered some great titles. I think it's a
Nintendo
console.
finally got it right.
I think Nintendo finally got it right, and I also think that I think that they basically looked at their past failures with the Wii and the Wii U, and I wouldn't say the Wii
was never a
not
failure, man. That was
no.
The Wii U was.
The Wii U was.
Yeah,
that turned 5 years old this week. It's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there should tell you just how unsuccessful it was or unnecessary it was as a console.
Yeah,
Didn't even make it 5 years.
So I just think that the Switch delivered on all its promises, and it makes my son very happy. So there you go. I'm thankful for the Switch.
I understand that.
That's a good one. And I agree with everything you said. Matt, what are you thinking?
Well, to actually kind of jump from that point, I'm thankful for Nintendo and Microsoft putting the cross-platforming boot to Sony's throat and squeezing that much harder this year to make them conform and to break down that wall. So it hasn't happened, but I feel like we are moving in that direction so fastly that they're going to have to do something.
Man, that was a violent thing to be thankful for.
Hey, there are demons inside of me that not even the world has seen yet.
Is that the tone that your family's Thanksgiving takes on? Because it feels like a very Thunderdome Thanksgiving.
Well, I'll say this. When you come in and you've got that little rack where you can hang your hat and your coat and put your umbrellas, ours is just with maces and bats with nails through it and, kind of like, just weapons of mass destruction are just kind of laid right in there.
Wow.
We try to keep it, kind of kosher there.
I had no idea that's what flew for kosher these days.
You'd be surprised.
You're correct. I would be surprised.
So that's what I'm thankful for.
What about you, Landon?
I'm going to go back to what I just spoke on a few minutes ago. I'm thankful that it seems like the DC universe is finally getting it right. Because let's be honest, we're all comic book fans. We want these movies to be good. I mean, it's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman standing shoulder to shoulder with Aquaman, The Flash, and Cyborg. And not to mention Wonder Woman earlier this year was really damn good. So I'm thankful that DC, it seems like, is finally getting it right. I'm still not to the point where I'm just going to give them blind faith like I do Marvel. It's like, okay, sure, Doctor Strange wasn't the best movie, but it still worked. But I'm still not to that point yet, but I am thankful that DC with Wonder Woman and Justice League seems to be getting it right. And like I said, I'm looking more forward to getting more from that universe. So that's what I'm thankful for.
Cool.
I think I want to advocate for that. Hold on a minute. Let me get my soapbox out. Here we go.
Nice, nice Foley word.
You like that? I had a conversation with a friend, and he brought up, for how critical we are of these movies, there's really no point to it because, number one, it's cheap entertainment, whether you want to admit to it or not. I mean, think about what you pay in concert tickets to hear a song you already have. But at the same time, you want DC to be successful. I want Superman movies to be good. You want Batman movies to be good. You want all these DC, heroes and villains to be fleshed out in a big screen, and we want them to be great. I guess that's maybe why we get so upset when they're not. Suicide Squad was good for what it was. It wasn't the best.
It was a mess, but it was fun.
It was fun. And it was like when we saw it, I had a better opinion of it. As I've seen it again, not all of it recently, I was like, oh, okay, I can see the missteps here, but I still like the characters. And, people don't like Man of Steel. I do, because it was a new generation Superman, and I liked who they got. The story wasn't the most conducive thing, yes, but Lois Lane's cool. I mean,
it's like Amy Adams.
I like Amy Adams. See, that's what's wrong with you.
I know.
You're a goddamn monster.
I'm weird.
Because you eat Raisin Bran.
I do eat it. I had it this morning.
And you would choose that over Pops. I cannot get past it. I cannot see you in a different light anymore. You throwing Monster Squad in the garbage as you ate your Raisin Bran and sneered at Amy Adams. I don't know who you are anymore.
Why are you sneering at celebrities while you eat your breakfast?
That's how I do.
Sneerer.
I put up a picture of her on the TV, and I just sit there and grimace.
That ain't healthy, man.
And eat my Raisin Bran because I like pain and suffering.
You've heard of a snork? He's a sneer. But yeah, I mean, we want these movies to be good, and I'm with you. Sure, I'll be critical. I'm sure of some of the things. I don't like Lex Luthor. I don't like, but I like him in other movies. So, such a misstep there. But yet again, that's what I'm saying is like, I'm okay with some of that movie, but I don't know. I wish it would have been better, but it's not. But we got what we got. So hopefully DC, this is, according to Landon, they're stepping the right direction. They're not in the street anymore, getting hit by the car. Yep. They're trying to get back on the sidewalk.
They're climbing out of the doldrums.
And I don't want to compare it to Marvel anymore. I really don't, because I feel like they're two different elements. They're the same genre, but two different elements.
I don't know if you're going to be able to get away from those comparisons. I know. Just because, they are the biggest names in comic books. They have positioned themselves to be in competition of each other. I mean, hell, Thor Ragnarok came out last week, and this week, boom, Justice League is out. So I think, at least in the immediate, that those two movies are going to be compared to each other.
They are. And I say personally, I'm going to try. Can I do that? No, there's probably faults in me like, well, this blah, 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 blah. And that's where you don't listen.
I think you're right, though. I think that DC needs to try to position themselves in a unique way.
Sure. I don't know how you do that, because, well, if the math is there for one formula, why would you?
The problem is that we're comparing Justice League to the Avengers because it's an ensemble.
The only reason I
did
that,
toys together in the sandbox.
Yes, but mostly it was because of Joss Whedon was the only reason I.
You said Juice.
I call him Juice all the time now. It's sad. I do it out in public. I'm like, Juice is like who? I'm like, never mind.
It's like clearly they don't listen to our podcast.
Yeah, that's exactly like you're not a listener. I already identified you. That's how I profile, baby. But I don't know.
But I agree with you.
That's what I was really trying to ask. Yeah. I was like, do you feel the tones? Because I didn't like Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
It was okay, but I thought it was way too much, and it was too fast. You talk about not letting a moment breathe. That movie, there was no breaths taken.
Was it too furious?
It was not too furious because Dwayne Johnson was not in it.
And welcome back to my Fast and Furious podcast.
Oh, God.
Well, speaking on Age of Ultron, I enjoyed Justice League more than I did Age of Ultron.
I did.
Just straight up.
But they gave you everything you wanted in Age of Ultron, and it was like, this. I don't really. I mean, it's still a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I like Civil War better.
Let me ask you this question, because I've heard this recently.
But people don't like Civil War because they didn't like the farm.
You like how we wrap up the show here?
We do.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I just want to advocate for DC, and then it's kind of spiraled into a conversation.
But just quick response between the two: Winter Soldier or Civil War? Which one do you prefer?
Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The only
I'm going to
reason
filibuster for 9 hours now.
Okay.
The only reason I say it is because I felt like Winter Soldier gave you content that mattered.
Okay.
Though caveat, Black Panther is the freaking awesomest character they introduced in Civil War.
I guess it's. I mean, and I like them both a lot, but
I do. It's hard.
I'd go Civil War.
I just went with gut reaction. I don't know that I believe what I say at this point.
It was just because, in my mind, when I watched Civil War, I was like, "Wow, I like that better than Age of Ultron." And Ultron should have been above, But
it should have been way above. I mean, it just wasn't.
Yeah. So
Civil War gave us Spider-Man, so it's hard to overlook. Gave us, Black Panther.
God, Giant Man,
Ant-Man, more Ant-Man, which that's my love affair forever. I don't know, but Winter Soldier, I was like, man, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I'm like, where are we going with this? Yeah. What is happening?
Civil War introduced a lot of really cool stuff, all those cool characters, and it was a really good comic book movie where I feel like on the flip side, Winter Soldier was a great political drama movie that just happened to have Captain America and the Winter Soldier and Falcon running around. I still think that's why The Dark Knight holds up so well. It's a great crime. It's a great gangster movie that just so happens to have Batman and the Joker floating around in the background.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it was more. I got more out of it. I felt like there was more emotions in it than in Civil War.
And the only reason I ask is because you guys are not in the minority. It seems like a lot of people feel that way. And so when I saw that, I was like, it just kind of surprised me because between the two, I would pick Civil War.
Sure.
But, obviously, we have clearly demonstrated that my taste is bizarre.
Freaking Raisin Bran.
I know.
And that's your opinion on stuff now. It's like, here comes the Raisin Bran.
Yeah.
No, we do share the same likes. And it's just, I like that we have difference of opinion. That's what makes this show good. So I'm fine with it.
And you can
Except everybody needs to agree with my opinion because I'm not.
Landon is kind of a conformist. And when he says conformist, he means to him.
Yes, exactly.
He wants everyone to conform. Yeah.
That's right.
Justify my beliefs, make me feel important.
That's right. Lift him up where he belongs.
I need this.
Well, I would say I think that we have a great opportunity for all of our listeners to share their differing opinions.
Yes.
They don't have to agree with us, but they can, tell us whether they do or not and tell us why on all of our many virtual options. It's not a virtual convention, but it's kind of a virtual convention.
Sure.
It's like an ongoing virtual convention.
Nerd News Cafe Earth.
Yeah, Nerd News Cafe Earth. Yeah. So interact with us, guys. We're out there in the world. We're on Twitter at nerd_news_cafe. We're on Facebook. We are on the web. We have our website, nerdnewscafe.com, and nerdnewscafe@gmail.com is where you can send us nasty letters. And we have a forum. And we're on YouTube. We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. Everywhere you look, there we are.
Every breath you take. Every step you take, but we watching you.
We watching you.
Yeah.
Like Sting and his tantric sex.
I didn't even have any response to that.
Yeah, I really feel like we just need to leave it at that and say goodnight.
Yeah.
But we need to do plugs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Matt, hit your plugs.
So if you guys are still interested, as we're at the mid-season finale of Star Trek Discovery, we do a podcast. Me and Thomas jump on the universe of the internet. I don't know. Anyway, we've got a podcast, Tracking Trek Podcast, so we talk about each episode. This mid-season finale is something else. It is very conducive to the way the season is rolled and connected to what they have sold us all the way through it. So if you want to know what any of those big words mean and how they relate to that podcast, you can hit us up at Tracking Trek Pod if you want to talk. And if you just want to listen to what we have to say in our opinions and how we feel about it and what you should feel about it. No, I'm just kidding. Give us what you thought based off what we said at Tracking Trek Pod, or hit us up on Tracking Trek Podcast at gmail.com. And that is Tracking Trek Podcast.
Landon?
Don't I lock us out? Aren't you going to plug yourself?
I got nothing to plug, man.
Wow, that's the saddest plug I've ever heard. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Landoz, LANDOZ. That's where you can find the latest musings from me. 280 characters at a time because Twitter has decided to break the Twitter format. I also run a website, buttmunchchips.com. Buttmunchchips.
Sit on your butt in a munch.
And that promised Thor Ragnaroked Out podcast I keep telling you about is coming, but it has been pushed back because Hunter and I, we want to talk more in depth about Justice League. So you remember how I said that Justice League and Ragnarok were going to be compared? Yep. Yeah, they're totally going to be compared in this podcast. And we're also going to talk about where comic book movies are going to go after this because obviously it's heading towards the end game of this phase of Marvel movies with Infinity Wars, and it really feels like DC is just ratcheting it up with the Justice League universe. So it's going to be interesting to see how those shake out and our thoughts on that. And again, that is posted exclusively at buttmunchchips.com. And remember, Butt Munch Chips.
Sit on your butt. Butt Rock Munch.
So for Butt Rock Matt Weaver and Ankle Acoustics Justa Krutzinger, my name is Wrist Rock and Landon Doan. We thank you for joining us on another edition of Nerd News Cafe. Stir it up. You've been great. We've been Nerd News. Good night.
Wrist rocking. That sounds pretty dirty.
It really does.
You said wrist riffing.